must have had that
Okay.
money held in your account for
Mm-hmm.
3 months. So if you're going
Okay.
to print your bank statement out for your visa appointment, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
printing 3 months bank statements, not 6 months,
Okay.
not less than. It's like maybe 3 months and a week to your interview, or 3 months and some days to your interview, but it has to be 3 months. You cannot put in lump sum of money just few days to your interview. So if you're going
Okay.
to put money in lump sum, you have to be strategic about it. But either ways, your bank balance at the end of your bank statement for that 3 months and a few days should reflect the total money they expect you to have.
Hi guys. Welcome to today's episode of Lenses, where international students come on and share their journey and all that you guys need to know about coming to study abroad. Today's a beautiful day. I have an amazing someone with me. She's going to come on and we're going to talk a lot about studying in Czech Republic. Let me allow her to introduce herself.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi everyone. My name is Bola Harrison. I'm a Nigerian studying in Czechia, living and studying in Czechia. And yeah, I'm here, or I came in here as a postgraduate student. And I think that's basically everything for now.
Great that you kind of like shared that with us. And we know that as we keep, going on in the conversation, we're going to get to know more about you. But then, how long have you been in Czech?
I've been in Czechia since 2022. I've been here studying for my degree for like about a year and 5 months. Yep, a year and five
Okay,
months.
okay. So, what made you decide to come to Czech? Among all these countries, what informed your decision?
I I think that for me there were variety of factors. Number
Okay.
one being that it was a country I could have afford on my own, because it was
Mm,
very important that I study somewhere I would not run into debt, and
mm,
somewhere where I know that my savings would conveniently get me to a starting
mm.
point. So even
Okay.
if I'll be offered like a kind of postgraduate scholarship or
Mm-hmm,
funding, or even if it's going to be partial or full, what I
mm-hmm,
have can sustain me, and the process can be done, from my pocket rather
mm-hmm,
than relying on anyone. So the first thing was
mm-hmm.
affordability of the
Okay.
country's process, the visa
Mm-hmm,
process. As at the
mm-hmm,
time I applied, it was really affordable, and
mm.
affordability of the program, because I was offered a funding per se, because I won't say if it's full or partial, but it's just I was offered a funding.
And then,
So that also, piqued my interest. So because it
okay.
was not really something I decided solely on, if I knew the country or knew anyone there. It was just
And
those
then,
two factors that piqued my interest in going on with the program and the country. So
oh, okay. That's really good to know. But then I know you made mention of that. Which university did you come into Czech to study at?
okay, so I'm studying at Radek Krava. It's
Oh,
pronounced Radek Krava, but it's spelled like Haradret Kralov. So
mm,
there's a university there in that city, University of Haradret Kralov. It's named after the city. So that's where I'm studying. So I'm studying philosophy. I'm studying a
okay,
postgraduate philosophy program. So yeah, the city is about 1 hour, 30 minutes from Prague. So give or take 2 hours maximum. The university is about 2 hours from Prague. So yeah.
oh, okay. That's good. But then, okay, I want to ask: was it only this university that you applied to, or you applied to a number of universities as well in Czech
I
while you
yeah,
were applying?
on school in Czech Republic. The thing was, as at the time I was applying, yeah, I applied to two schools. Sorry, I applied to two schools in Czech Republic, and the first university I applied to was because there was a call for scholarship going round, and I
Mm-hmm.
applied for it. But the second one was I saw it as an advert, on my
Okay.
Google board. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
applied, but I didn't get the initial one that drew my attention to Czech Republic. I didn't get it, but I got into
Okay.
second school. So,
Okay.
and I think because the second school also did not have an application fee, so that was another thing. So I was like,
That's
it would not hurt to try, and
true.
then I got the admission for that school. So, yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Mm,
That's really, really, really good. So I want you to talk. I want us to quickly get into it. I want you to talk a bit about the process of
yeah,
coming, to check the
okay.
visa process. What were the steps? But then first, I think before we even talk about the visa process, how
Mm,
did you find the schools? For someone who wants to come to check and they want to search for schools and all of that, they will want to know which website do they have to go, what is the application
yeah.
process like?
Okay. I think that the first thing that I would actually advise is that for finding the schools in Czech Republic, they have like a general website.
Mhm.
But I didn't know about the website as at the time I applied. So
Okay.
I think that also was one of the reasons why I did not apply to so many places.
Yes.
So I only
Mhm.
applied to the ones that I saw that was giving a direct link to. But they have like a general website where you can find all the universities, even the private ones and the public ones in Czech Republic. So it's
Mm.
studying.cz. So that's
Okay.
the website where you have all the schools. And when you click on each school, you have all their programs and you see the requirements that's
Mhm.
each university or each program needs.
Mhm.
And then the check process itself.
Mhm.
So the check process itself, you know how we have different countries like African countries for instance,
Mhm.
kind of like split under different categories. So some
Yes.
countries uses some other countries embassy because some of them don't have an embassy. So sometimes
Mhm.
if I'm explaining, I'll have to like categorize it under the embassies that are for each country or each place.
Mhm. Yes,
So the first
okay.
thing you would actually would need for the check process are your original documents. So that's one thing people always, miss. If they can use their photocopy of the documents, if they can use their statement of results. Actually, for admission purpose, you can scan your documents. You can use those ones. But for visa purpose, and in fact, for even the admission purpose, you would need the original documents because along the line, when you are offered admission, there are certain procedures you have to go through. So you would still have to you will still have to um, be in possession of your original
There we go.
document. That's the first thing. Your original document for whatever level of studies you're applying for, be it bachelor's, master's, or a PhD degree program. So that's the first one. The second one is some schools or almost all schools now charge an application fee. So,
Okay.
but for Czech Republic, the application fees are not that expensive compared to some other
Okay.
European countries. So I think
Okay.
the highest I've come across would be $100, and that's like the
Okay.
highest I've ever come across. Most of them are like 30 euros, 25, 20,
Mm.
and all that. Then the next thing would be to send an application to the school that you're applying to. So
Mhm.
applications usually would open from say some open from November
Okay.
till March
Okay.
for the September intake, and then
Okay.
some open from um, sometime around early in the year for the
Mhm.
February, or late in the year for February intake for the next
Intake.
year. So you have to
Okay.
always consult the website of the university. And
Website.
one thing I think I like about them is that you can always send an email to the contact list for each program you're applying to. So
So
that's another one. So when you apply and you pay the application fee, if there is any, the next thing is that most universities in Czech Republic, I'm not going to say all because it's not all of them, but
yeah.
most of them have they have an entrance examination. So you have to do an entrance examination online. While there are
Mhm.
some faculties, some schools, and some programs that require that you do it in person. So
Oh.
those are usually almost impossible for students who are not Europeans to,
Mhm.
because you can't get a visa to just come and write an exam. Already the
Exams.
process is a very stressful one.
I see.
So you write an entrance exam. It's for those going for bachelor's and masters. It's usually something around mathematics and English and some
Okay.
other knowledge, but mostly mathematics and English for the program. While in some
Mhm.
cases, it's not an exam, it's going to
Mhm.
be an interview.
Interview. Okay.
So the
Okay.
interview is basically like asking you about your program, your purpose, and all of those stuff.
Mhm.
So if you pass the interview, if you pass the entrance exam or the interview, then you will be given admission. But
Okay.
after the admission, Then the admission you get is just will I say informal or formal, the one that it's not official yet.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
for you to get an official admission statement or the letter, you would
Mm-hmm.
need to, for different countries, they have different process. So if you
Okay.
studied in Europe, meaning maybe you did your bachelor's degree somewhere in Europe or
Mm-hmm.
outside Africa, so to say, the process is
Mm-hmm.
different. So if you obtained your WAEC or your bachelor's degree, or you're a citizen of a country in Africa, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, the process is also different. Most of the time, those who fall under the categories I've just mentioned, you have to do a super legalization process.
Okay.
Yeah, so your super legalization process is where you have to authenticate your university degree documents like your WAEC, your bachelor certificate, and transcripts. That's why I said you will need the original documents.
Documents.
And then the school requires that. Not all schools, I've seen a few exceptions, a few,
Hmm.
not like they are minor, major, just like about 2 or 3 universities in Czechia who do not do this. But majority of them require that you send a copy of that super legalized document back to them. So not the
Boom.
originals,
Mm-hmm.
you would photocopy them and notarize them and
Mm-hmm.
send the photocopies that you have notarized by a lawyer back to the school. So this because the
Okay.
school has to do something called an evaluation. The
Phew.
process is known as notification. It includes the process of authenticating your document. But for the universities, the reason why they need you to send it back to them is they need to see that stamp
Okay.
on.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for legalization, you go to your Ministry of Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the embassy. So once you do all of those processes, there are stamps that will be on your original document at the back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the university needs to certify that your degrees, everything you did is equivalent to the kind of things they would also teach you,
Mhm.
or what they
Okay.
would have taught you as a
Mm-hmm.
student in the Republic, or what they teach their students under the same program.
Mm-hmm.
And that those documents have been certified by the bodies that are necessary to do so.
Okay.
So when this is done, typically it takes about within a week to 30 days. So sometimes
Okay.
it takes a month, depending on the
Mm-hmm.
university. Sometimes it takes a week. And when this
Okay.
is done, they would send you your admission letter, like the physical copy, to your home address that you have filled when you were vying.
Applied.
Yes, when you applied. So on your dashboard, you must have filled an address. So you have to make sure that the address is very, very correct. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
to that also. In most cases, they'll send it to a post office
Mm-hmm.
within your postcode. So
Okay. Okay.
wherever city you're living in, the nearest post office. So in case they don't get it to your house, most schools would use DHL. Some schools, most of them, majority of them would use the normal post. So
Plus.
post usually don't come. Some of them don't come to your house. They go to the post
Mm.
office and drop it there. So
Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Okay.
then you have the original official letter. So in the process of sending you the original letter, they would have also sent you an electronic copy of the admission letter.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be used when you are applying for your visa before the original
Okay.
document comes in. But the original document is necessary for visa purpose. That's the admission letter is very
Okay.
necessary on purpose. So I think these are all the process
Yes.
you would go through to get admission in.
Okay. Okay, 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 okay. So now let's come to the visa process. You've explained everything regarding the application process, and thank you for shedding light on that. But then now for the visa process, like in Africa, there's this whole issue that we
Mhm.
have regarding proof of funds and everything. What are the steps to take with requesting for the visa? What are some of the requirements? Yeah.
Okay. The first thing is that for visa, after you've gotten your admission, for visa
Mm-hmm.
process, it's different for Czech Republic. Czech
Mm-hmm.
Republic don't have the type of system where you go online, you book an appointment date, you go for your visa, you go for your visa appointment. It's not like that. Their own process is it's kind of old. I think it's an old process of you vying for an interview slot. Now, I will speak for Africans generally. So, if you are a Ghanaian, a Cameroonian, a Togolese, a Nigerian,
Mm-hmm.
The rules that apply is that we have 9 countries under the Nigerian embassy. So we have
Okay.
one Czech Republic embassy in Nigeria,
Okay.
and it
Mm-hmm.
caters to 9 African countries:
Okay.
Nigeria, Cameroon, I think Togo. I can't remember them off head or off heart right now, but they
Okay.
cater to 9. And then the one in Ghana caters to, I think, maybe 5 or 6 thereabout also.
Okay. Okay.
Now, for using the Czech embassy in Nigeria for as an example, we have 9 countries. We have 15 slots every month.
Okay.
So 10 slots rather. We have 10 slots.
Mm-hmm.
And every 15th of the month,
Mm-hmm.
of the students in these 9 countries, you send an email to the website. The email address is already on the embassy's website.
Okay.
Every 15th of the month, I think now it's 8 a.m. Central European time. You send your documents, that's your admission letter, the electronic copy you got, your
Mm-hmm.
international passport data page, and the body of the message has an instruction how it's supposed to be, like a format.
Format.
And you send it to that email sharp. And it's not a guarantee that you will get a visa slot. It's not
Mm.
even a guarantee, because you have just 10 slots every month, and you have students ranging from hundreds from
Mm.
each of these 9 countries. The same thing
Countries.
applies to students from India and students from Ghana and the rest
Mm.
of them, where you have the embassy. So you have to check the embassy, the country where your own country falls under. So
Okay.
if there's an
Mm-hmm.
embassy in Nigeria, it caters to 9 countries. You just have to find out if your country falls under there. So that will be the embassy you'll be using should you
Reviews.
get appointment. And so previously, students, we have another method of applying for visa, but now Nigerians, Ghana, and Cameroon have been exempted from this. It's called the students mode, but they've been exempted, so there is no point
Okay.
about it. So now you
Mm.
only have the direct booking method, which could take
Lot.
before you
Months.
be successful on getting a visa appointment. So, proof of fund actually for Czech Republic is 115,000. I'll just wrap it up to say 115,500 Czech crowns. In euros, that's not up to 5,000 euros. It's around 4,007 or 4,500 euros. But it has to be in your local currency using the bank rate. So say you are living in Nigeria, you're living in Ghana, it has to be in your local currency at the rate that the bank is using, not at the
Mm.
parallel market rate. So say 1 naira to 1 Czech crowns is maybe
Mm-hmm.
25 naira or
Okay.
so. Or I
Mm-hmm.
use euros anyway because I feel like it's easier, to
Easier.
calculation using euros. So you convert 1 Czech crowns to euros, and then you
Mm-hmm.
divide it gives you by the 115,000 Czech crowns, and then you get
Mm.
the figure in euros, and then you multiply. So it's easier
Mm.
that way. So
Easier. Mm.
you have like about right now the rate might differ. So I'm not going to give an exact figure because
Yeah.
students. So,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
115,000 Czech crowns. To be on the safe side, say 5,000 euros for your
Mm.
proof, and it has to
Oh.
be. It has to have been in your account for three
Mm-hmm.
months. You must have had that
Okay.
money held in your account for
Mm-hmm.
3 months. So if you're going
Okay.
to print your bank statement out for your visa appointment, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
printing 3 months bank statements, not 6 months,
Okay.
not less than. It's like maybe 3 months and a week to your interview, or 3 months and some days to your interview, but it has to be 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot put in lump sum of money just few days to your interview. So if you're going
Okay.
to put money in lump sum, you have to be strategic about it. But either ways, your bank balance at the end of your bank statement for that 3 months and a few days should reflect the total money they expect you to have. Now,
Okay.
in most cases, it's advisable that you have your tuition fee plus the amount. So say maybe your first semester tuition fee. That's for some schools that don't, some schools will tell you to pay immediately you gain admission. Some schools would not tell you to pay immediately, but they have a deadline, which might be further down the line. So
Mm-hmm.
it's better that if you've not paid your tuition fee, you should have maybe everything, if you can, or at least half of it in
Okay.
your account as well. So it goes sideways. I've seen students with just the proof of fund, and I've seen students with the proof of fund and their tuition fee.
Yeah.
So
Tuition fee.
to do
Okay.
all of that, then you can apply for the visa with your original documents. You don't need to go for the visa interview with your academic documents. But I heard that now there are different embassies with different rules. Some embassies are now
Mm.
required, so it doesn't hurt to go with it. But I think
Yeah.
that's it process for Czech Republic.
Okay, okay. So you made mention of the tuition. They also need to have their tuition with them. What can you say, like the range of tuition fees in Czech?
Well, I think that tuition fee depends. Like it depends
Yes.
on the university. There are
Mm-hmm.
universities that there are programs now. I will not say the university, I'll say programs. There are
Mm-hmm.
programs that pay as low as 500 euros, in
Okay, okay. Mm-hmm.
even 400 or so. But the
Okay.
minimum benchmark at least 500 euros. And there are some
Mm-hmm.
that are free, with the 500 euros being administrative fee, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe something as low as 2,000 Czech crowns, which is
Mm-hmm.
less than 800 euros. Depending
Okay.
if your program is funded, if it's a PhD program or bachelor's program or a master's program. But most
Okay.
programs have funding for masters. I've not really seen so many programs have scholarship or fundings for bachelors. But for
Okay.
masters and PhD, you will find. So the tuition range is from um, because they use euros. Most of these schools pay in euros, even though their official currency is the Czech koruna. So
Mm-hmm.
say 500 euros to at least 7,500 euros is the tuition
Okay.
fee. And even as
Okay.
high as 350,000 Czech crowns for courses in medicine, dentistry, and nursing. So you have like 350,000 Czech crowns. That's a lot of money. It's more than 10,000.
Mm,
So
mm,
the average that you will find affordably, or you
mm-hmm.
find more affordable, 500 euros to 4,005 to 7,005, and even the 7,000 is because it's still depend on the school. So,
Mm-hmm.
but on an average, I would say, excluding the one of 500 euros, because not everybody gets into schools like that. Just
Yeah.
say 1,000 euros to 4,5 is the
Okay.
average rate you
Average.
university.
Okay, 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 okay. So with proof of funds and tuition fees aside, with the visa, like let's talk about who can sponsor you for Czech Republic. Who can
Okay.
be your sponsor? What are the requirements for this person?
Well, before I am aware, as of 2022, when I before I left,
Mm-hmm.
I had people, students who use sponsor, even though the Czech embassy in Nigeria indicates or specifies that you can no longer use a sponsor. But
Okay.
I've seen a few cases where people use sponsorship. Now, for
Mm-hmm.
sponsor, since they don't accept sponsors anymore, what people do is to use those who are really, really close to them, like father, your mother, your brother, your sister. Not really
Mm-hmm.
so much like distance relative.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use someone that is close to you. But at the same time, you still need to have money in your account, even though the person also will have money in their account. So say your father wants to sponsor you and has
Mm-hmm.
10 million naira in his account, it's actually
Mm-hmm.
advisable you also have like 2 to 3 million naira or 4 million naira in your account. If possible, your father should just put that money in your account, because now I'm learning that it depends on the consular who attends
Mm-hmm.
to you, and depends on the
Okay.
embassy you're going to. So most cases, I would say that since it's been said on their website, they don't
Mm-hmm.
allow sponsor. You don't give them a
Mm-hmm.
reason to deny your application. So it's better
Okay.
if sponsor gives you that money. You can
Mm-hmm.
put it in your account 2 months in. You
Mm-hmm.
have to bring 3 month bank statement, so you don't have to start from the first month to the third month.
That's
You
it.
can
Yeah.
between, so the person can just put the money there. If the person can put the money there until the third month for you to print it out, is better and it's safer. On
Safer.
like you just get to the embassy and they deny you because the money is not in your account. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually true. That's true. That's true. Thank you for sharing for that, because people really need to know. So many people are really agitated regarding that. Then let's talk about, usually when you're requesting for the visa, do they need you to have an accommodation, or how does it work? Because some embassies, they will need you to maybe have an
yeah,
accommodation.
for Czech Republic, accommodation is very important. It's not like some countries where you can use hotel bookings to
Mm-hmm.
secure your visa. So
Mm-hmm.
at the point when you're applying for admission, after you get the admission, when the university sends you a file called visa document, they call it a
Mm-hmm.
visa document because it
Okay.
contains the original copy of your admission letter
Mm-hmm.
and accommodation contract. So
Okay.
sometimes you don't really have an accommodation yet. So
Okay.
say for
Mm-hmm.
instance that you've not secured an accommodation, that maybe
Mm-hmm.
you want to stay in the school dormitory or outside the school dormitory, but you've not
Mm-hmm.
secured the accommodation, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the school gives you a document that it seems as if you have an accommodation.
Addiction. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in some cases, some schools give you that document and it is valid. You indeed do have an accommodation, but you
Mm-hmm.
still have to, because in most cases when students apply for the admission,
Mm-hmm.
dormitory application is not open yet. That's for you to
Mm-hmm.
start for hostel accommodation. It's not open
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you that document. It's like a pseudo accommodation contract. So
Okay.
you did signed from their end. You also have a part to sign, and you take it
Fine.
along to your on your day of your visa interview. Take it along.
Decided. Mm-hmm.
You submit that document to the consular. It's not your copy. Some schools will
Mm-hmm.
give you a copy, one for you, one for them. But because the document is going to be in Czech language, it's not for you. It's for the consular, the embassy. So you have a letter and an
Mm-hmm.
accommodation contract, and you have translations also, because
Mm-hmm.
document, supporting document like your medicals, your police character certificate, they will be translated. So you're submitting any translations in English and in Czech Republic, in Czech language, to the consular. So yeah, accommodation is really, really, really important. And if your accommodation contract, the one they gave you before when you gain admission, actually elapse before you
Mm-hmm.
get an appointment date, it is advisable to reach out to your school again for them to issue
No.
you a new accommodation contract. Because
Oh,
if you go
okay.
with an expired document, every document is valid for 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
So if you've not used it in 6 months and it expires, it is actually advisable you ask for another one, because if you go with it, they would not attend to you. So it's like a wasted effort. So you always ask your school for another one. Once you tell them that you will need new accommodation contract for visa purpose, they already know. So
No, okay.